I was having my own battles because we left a city that I loved, and never in my wildest dreams did I think that God would take a party girl like me, who is in and out of mental institutions and rehabs and horrible, toxic, abusive relationships, and he'll give me the platform of a pastor and allow me to love people the way I was loved in the process. Life was good. It made no sense to leave what we had, but when he came to me with the dream in his heart, I knew instantly it's what God had called us to. So we packed it up and we moved, and we were so excited and just had this desire to change Tampa, and I had this desire to make all these amazing friends, and I began to go through what I would call an identity crisis as I began to meet new people and realizing that we're not in the Bible Belt anymore. And we could have read all the books and talked to as many people as we wanted, but nothing could have prepared us for the culture shock. And so as I'm trying to be me, at the same time I'm battling, well, who do people want me to be? And who am I supposed to be? And what does it look like to be a pastor's wife? And I began to put myself out there and make friends, but every time it seemed like it would come back to hurt me. And there was 3 instances with women that just left me hurt and broken and feeling betrayed, and I had unmet expectations. And by the end of that, I really began to isolate. And I didn't realize it until Matt pointed it out one night, and he said, "You realize that you're isolating from people." And I broke and I just cried. And the next day we went to a conference that was for church planners and for pastors, and I got real with some of the pastors' wives there. And next thing I knew, for 2 hours, so many of them, some that had just planted a year before, some that have had a church for years and years and years and were thriving, they surrounded me as I cried and I shared about my hurts and my struggles, and knowing I'm called to this, but not understanding who I'm supposed to be in it, and that I've been hurt, and that honestly I didn't like what God was doing. And Matt would always say, "Well, what else do you want to do? Do you want to go back to Wilmington?" And I'd say, "No, I know we're not supposed to go back. I don't know where we're supposed to go. I believe we're supposed to stay here, but I'm not healthy right now." And so after that time with all those pastors' wives, I truly came up out of that going, I am called to the very thing that I've been running from, which was women's ministry. It was such an example of my pain being turned into purpose. And so I intentionally began to pour into 2 girls that were in my life. And then from there we started a small group. And then from there we started our women's movement, Sisterhood. And I can look back and see that the thing that I was running from and I was whining and I was complaining about was the very thing that God was calling me to. And it was what was in front of me the whole time. And I understood a calling, but I never understood stewardship. And so when I began to understand what it means to steward, the gift that's been given, the call, the people, I actually began to enjoy it. And my heart went from going, women are just dramatic, I don't want to be around them, I have enough drama in my home with 4 daughters, to I love women and I want to see them set free, and I want to see them healed, and I want to see them sharing their story, and I want to see them giving back. So when I got real with God about my hurt and my bitterness and issues with women, He was able to heal that place. And I realized that this is going to be painful, that planning a church is going to be painful. We're dealing with people for the rest of our lives. It's going to be painful. But am I going to run from that? Am I going to isolate myself? Or do I want to step into what I know God's called me to, embrace the pain, and to let Him use that? And that's what I've seen make such a difference. My story is that 14 years ago, I was in a drug and alcohol rehab, giving my life back to God, as broken gets. And so that's our heart for our church, that God can do anything. And that life with Him, it is limitless. I did want to quit. I did put my sword down. What kept us fighting and what continues to keep us fighting is the relationships that we have. It is those who have gone before us. It's those who are with us. in this, and it's those who are coming up behind us. I have a new passion now to pass the torch, to spend my time with those who are coming up, who are new to their faith. They want to make a difference. They want to use their voice to see God radically change this world, and they need us to be an influence and to be a voice for them. They need us to be available. But I knew that I had to keep walking in obedience. I had to be real. I had to reach out. I had to keep seeking God. And from that place, I am now loving my life. I'm loving our church. I'm loving our family life. I'm loving our marriage. It really daily is, wow, we get to do this. And so the dream that started in his heart has become the dream in my heart.